Okay, people, back with another one, and in this one we're gonna be talking about one that actually will have will seem to have a significantly long, and look, it's done, but a significantly long Dinosaur Diary. We're gonna be talking about a dinosaur that actually has quite the history with Jurassic Park, and I could say Jurassic World, but more, Jurassic Park. It was intended to be in Jurassic Park, but was chosen, well, not chosen, but was replaced by a smaller relative, and the smaller relative took the last binomial part of his name. What dinosaur am I talking about? None other than the lethal Deinonychus Antirrhopus. Alright. Deinonychus means terrible claw. And boy, did it have a very thick sickle claw used for cutting whatever it desired to sink its teeth into at the moment. And speaking of sinking its teeth into something, that meant its diet was carnivorous. It had a height of 1.7 meters, which was 5.5 feet, around the height of your average female, human female. Had a length of 3.4 meters, which is 11 feet, and it weighed 73 kilograms. That's 160 pounds. Its fossils were found in the United States from Montana to Wyoming and possibly in Maryland. Now that's a wide range of territory for Deinonychus to have covered during his reign in the Cretaceous. Its notable game appearances are the Lost World Jurassic Park video game, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, where it was cut from, I wonder why, Jurassic Park 3, Park Builder, and obviously here, Jurassic World Evolution, where I like to think it finally gets a real credited appearance. Well, let's get into this. It says that Deinonychus was the first of the raptors, or more preferably to be called dromaeosaurs, or dromaeosaurs, however you like to say it. They were the first of the dromaeosaurs to be known from a nearly complete skeleton. Velociraptor, its cousin, a smaller relative, had been discovered 40 years earlier, but was known only from its skull and a few bones of its hands and feet. Sorry. The skeleton of Deinonychus was first to show the now infamous sickle-shaped retractable foot claw, which was 8 inches in length. It was used for ripping open the skin of its victims, causing the prey's guts to be ripped, and with a considerable amount of damage. Deinonychus also had a nasty bite, with over 60 knife-like teeth. Although with a deadly bite, its arms and legs would be the most powerful, and could rear on one leg and kick an opponent. Really? That's really versatile, Deinonychus. Doesn't sound like you like to show off back in the day. Dr. John Ostrom discovered Deinonychus in 1964. Dr. Ostrom believed that this dinosaur was an agile, swift predator, more like a warm-blooded mammal or bird than a cold-blooded crocodile. Ostrom, I wonder if that's the guy that found Utahraptor, because Utahraptor is the binomial part of Utahraptor well, its complete scientific name rather is Utahraptor austromasorum, and Ostrom is the first 6 letters, and Ostrom is the first 6 letters in Utahraptor austromasorum. So I'm just wondering. Now, the story behind it for Jurassic World says that Deinonychus is briefly seen on the holoscape screen in the Innovation Center of Jurassic World. Deinonychus apparently went extinct on Isla Nublar in 2018, which is kind of interesting to think about, that they bred Deinonychus. Now, I wonder, this has to go against the Gene Guard Act, right? Because the Gene Guard Act specifically said no new dinosaurs were to be cloned, or any other dinosaurs, no more dinosaurs were to be cloned. They specifically said no new species, but I believe it entailed to say that no more species of dinosaurs were to be cloned. I mean, it was proved that on Isla Sorna they were thriving and they were fine. So they were, it was not to make any more dinosaurs, but we all know that didn't happen. Humans, as we are, we do whatever we please regardless of the consequences, because we like to think there are no consequences when it comes to the virtue of science and making breakthroughs and discoveries and whatnot. Anyway, like I said, I'm gonna eventually go into the Gene Guard Act to find out if the Jurassic World dinosaurs broke the law. Anyway, its novel canon states that Deinonychus was considered to be a species of Velociraptor. At a Montana dig site, Dr. Alan Grant discovers a hatchling of a dromaeosaurid that he classifies as Velociraptor Antirrhopus, which is reclassified as Deinonychus. That's how Jurassic Park gets away with saying their velociraptors are bigger than they should, because the velociraptors are in reality Deinonychus. Just for the sake of Jurassic Park, they're two separate separate dinosaurs, separate but not separate. You know what I'm trying to say? His video game history states that in the video game The Lost World Jurassic Park for the Sony PlayStation, Deinonychus is an enemy in various levels. It bears a resemblance to the Velociraptor that appeared in the game as well, only in different colors. Oddly, it is smaller than the Velociraptor instead of being bigger as in real life, which was ironic actually. In the game, they are also called Deinonychus, likely to differentiate them from the Velociraptor. They are gray and have yellow spots. They were kind of a plentiful enemy, if I remember correctly. They were real plentiful. I'd like to think up until the T-Rex level, because that's when you started. That's when you started seeing Velociraptors a lot. Besides that one human hunter level. In Jurassic Park 3, Park Builder, Deinonychus is a carnivore that can be recreated from paleo DNA. Now we finna get into the good stuff. As in the game it was cut from. It says that Deinonychus was planned to appear in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, but was scrapped, possibly in favor of the Velociraptor, which is very believable. They wanted to make sure they get Velociraptor in the game because it was actually in the movie. When making a game based off of the movies, such as Jurassic World Evolution here, you want to make sure you get all the movie dinosaurs in first. It'd be kind of weird to be working on these other dinosaurs, and by the time the game releases, you release this game, Jurassic World Evolution, without a T-Rex. That would have been weird, right? Right. So that's what happened with Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, but it would have been so awesome if we could have had Deinonychus. It'd have been nice to have two species of Velociraptors, Now, see, look there. See, now I'm even confusing them. But it'd have been nice to have two species of dromaeosaurs in the park, and I wanted to see if they would have fought. Probably not, because raptors don't really bother with Dilophosaurus really in the game. Jurassic World Evolution says that the Deinonychus will appear in Jurassic World Evolution, as it already has. And look at it in all this majesty. Okay. It will appear as seen in the second in-game trailer footage. In the game, it is portrayed with a comb on his head similar to a rooster, as well as another fleshy ridge along his tail. Kind of makes you think it's like part fish or something. These ridges along his tail make me think he has a good amount of fish DNA in it, or some type of salamander, you know. It also has a shorter skull than his real-life counterpart, with large pronounced eye ridges. The coloration is a reddish tint with a white underbelly, which is the default skin right here. And I think they did that so once again you won't get it confused with Velociraptor, because the Velociraptor is Deinonychus in the Jurassic Park / World franchise. So what happens when you actually need to put Deinonychus in the game? Make it look different. And that's what they did. And Jurassic Park / World is known for the dinosaurs for having numerous scientific inaccuracies. Scientific inaccuracies. I'm sorry for that misstatement. One of the most frequent inaccuracies are the pronated wrists that the theropod dinosaurs portray. As you see how the Deinonychus is holding his wrist, is holding them forward and kind of like folded in, when in reality the hands would be slanted towards the side because their wrists couldn't pronate, meaning they couldn't turn. So their wrists were stuck in a fixed position, which was not that position. So that's probably why, due to the franchise as a whole having a host of scientific inaccuracies, this is why Deinonychus looks the way it does, and taking that to their advantage, Frontier did this. We now have the chicken rooster Deinonychus. Oh, they're plotting. Oh, you devious dinosaurs, you. You're not breaking out in this video. Anyway, this toy series says that the Deinonychus initially had been planned to produce a toy line for the Lost World Series 1. It was a repaint of the Jurassic Park Series 1 Velociraptor. Oh, and for its final, nope. It's some behind the scenes. You know I love behind the scenes when it comes to the JPJW dinos. Can't get enough of those. And it says that Deinonychus was the basis for novel canon's Velociraptors, and in turn the raptors seen in the films. Jurassic Park novel author Michael Crichton visited John Ostrom, the discoverer of Deinonychus, when doing research on the novel. Ostrom said that Crichton's Velociraptor was based on Deinonychus in almost every detail, and Crichton had even called him to inform him that he had renamed the Deinonychus in his novel to Velociraptor because he felt it sounded more dramatic. In which it does. Velociraptor sounds a little bit more frightening than Deinonychus. Like, when you hear something called a Velociraptor, like, what is that? You know? During the production of the Jurassic Park film, Steven Spielberg's production contacted John Ostrom and requested copies of all the technical papers that Ostrom had done on Deinonychus. Unlike the novel, the raptors that were seen in the film were to be properly named Deinonychus, and Mark Crash McCreary had even made concept art of this raptor in 1991. But later in pre-production, it was renamed to Velociraptor. See, they were going to do it. They were going to make Velociraptor Deinonychus because that's what it was supposed to be. But once again, since Velociraptor was in the novel and it was based off Deinonychus, that's what they went with there, because for the same reason Michael Crichton went with Velociraptor's name, but with the Deinonychus build. Because Velociraptor sounds just a little bit more frightening. And I'm sure if you think back hard and long on the films, you will agree with that. Especially that one scene in Lost World when our raptor jumped out the bush and ate that poor man's face. Well, the long grass, I meant. So, this has been SKG, signing out with another successful entry into our Dinosaur Diaries. With Deinonychus, that makes 14, meaning we have about 34. No, not 34. Yeah, we have about 34 more dinosaurs to cover. And with that being said, I'm going to leave y'all to it. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. This has been Super King Ghidorah signing out. Peace, y'all. Say bye, Deinonychus. Antisocial creature.